Full of belief, we set out on our hero's journey. We've embraced learning, taken action, and now face a new phase. One that holds the true test when the path presents reflections. Feedback that challenges us to see ourselves clearly. And now the question arises, will we learn from the reflections, or will we be caught in a loop, destined to repeat the same steps until growth finally occurs? Were you aware that feedback is a very important part of our lives? And that feedback is like a mirror, showing us both our strengths and our blind spots. If we refuse to learn, the mirror remains the same, and we find ourselves in a loop. At first, we might struggle to accept what we see in the mirror. We try to move forward, but soon find ourselves back at the same mirror, facing the same reflections, repeating the same challenges and unable to advance. Life has a way of repeating lessons until they are learned. Feedback loops trap us in a cycle, forcing us to face the same challenges until we realize that we are caught in a loop, encountering the same issues over and over again until that moment that we learn to use the feedback for our growth, and only then can we break free. A wise mentor once revealed to me some wisdom, explaining that feedback is not just about reflections of the past, but also a guide to navigating my future, and how it's also about playing the game of probabilities. And the better I learn from feedback, the higher my chances of success and improving my odds would be. My mentor highly emphasized that personal discernment will help me navigate what is useful and what is noise, and how mastering feedback is one of the keys to personal power. Let me tell you a personal story about feedback, and how by embracing my feedback, I was able to completely change my direction. When I was younger, I had been in the gymnastics career for 17 years, and prior to that, I had been a gymnast for many, many years. I finally got to the stage where I had decided I didn't want to be in that career anymore, and I wanted to change. I wanted to experience what it was like to work in another industry, and I chose business. I wanted to work for a business, and I wanted to know what that was like. But I had only had experience coaching in the gymnastics realm. So when I started looking for employment in other areas, I found it very, very difficult. And I was getting knocked back for everything. So I would start asking, what is it that I haven't got that you require? And I would get feedback. I had one person actually say to me, oh, it's nothing that you haven't got, it's just we can't use people like you. I was quite shocked. I had never ever experienced that before. So what I did was I started to listen to what people were saying, my friends, about what I needed to do to change my career. And there was education and there was work experience, but I didn't have time. I needed to work, and I needed to work now. So I decided that I would look for jobs, any job that would train me. And I thought, I just need to start somewhere. And what I did was I found a job that had full training, business, financial services license, training in sales, in absolutely all the areas that I needed to learn. I took the job and I was trained really, really well, and I had some amazing people that I worked with. So they put me in the sales first, and I wasn't that great. I was good at talking and I had a lot of confidence, but I just didn't know how to speak to someone to sell them the products that we had. Well, I had a teacher there, a mentor, and he said to us, what you need to do is you need to go home and practice in front of the mirror. You need to practice in front of the mirror and talk to the mirror as if you're talking to one of your customers. But not only one of your customers, but I want you to talk in front of the mirror as if you're talking to your mother or your best friend. Well, I thought that was kind of strange. But he continued, because when you talk about this product to your friend or your mother, you speak differently than if you were trying to sell it to someone. And I want you to learn how to speak to someone in a way that's relatable. Well, that made a lot of sense to me. So I went home and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And I'm telling you, I had to practice a lot. I felt stupid. It felt dumb. I didn't know what to say to my mum, so I wasn't sure what I was doing. But I would go back to work and I would say to him, look, I did it. This is what happened. And he would say, go back and keep doing it. Eventually, I became really, really good at being able to speak to someone and be relatable and not sound like a robot. I progressed quite a lot in that industry, but it wasn't until I was told and given feedback. I took the feedback and I used it, and I improved on my skills and my knowledge to further my experience and my abilities in that industry and for that business. Not only did I learn how to be more relatable, but I became much more confident in my conversations with general public and the general people that I would meet. I learned that when I met somebody, a complete stranger, it didn't have to be awkward. I could speak to them like as if I was speaking to a friend or a mother, and that way they would relate to me and feel more comfortable. This was a lesson that stayed with me forever. By using this knowledge that I learned from the feedback that I got, it allowed me to progress in my life. And even today, I can walk up to people and speak to them and feel comfortable in myself and feel like I know them and they're friend. It's just a habit that I got into, allowing myself to be more comfortable in my own skin and also with others. As you apply what you've learned, the loop dissolves and new pathways open before you. With personal discernment and reflection, you start to see feedback not as criticism, but as guidance. By learning from it, you break the loop and open new possibilities. You realize that feedback is the key to improving your odds, to playing the game of life with greater skill and awareness. As we return the hero who plays the game of life, walking confidently through our journey, we are no longer trapped in the loop. We now have a new awareness of the feedback we receive, using it as a tool to increase success in every step we take. And by not taking feedback personally, but using it on a personal level, your understanding has changed. Freed from the cycle of repetition, you walk forward, truly knowing that feedback is the key to your personal growth. And with every reflection, you start to refine your path, increasing your chances of victory in the game of life. Here, ask yourself, am I caught in the feedback loop, repeating the same mistakes? If you are, embrace feedback and break that loop and master the game of probabilities. Remember, every reflection is a chance to improve your odds, so take it and become the hero of your own story. If you master the loop, you master the game of personal power, becoming a force even greater than before. In my previous videos, we discussed the better concept. And by using these concepts, you will achieve your true potentials. By believing in yourself and your potential, educating yourself continuously because knowledge is power, taking action, even if it's one step at a time, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. By adding these new elements we talked about. 1. Feedback loops. The idea of being trapped in a loop until lessons are learned adds a layer of urgency and necessity to embracing feedback. 2. Reflections. Mirrors symbolize feedback as self-reflections, showing that growth comes when we face the truth about ourselves. And 3. Probabilities. Feedback becomes a tool to improve the odds of success, making life a strategic game where learning from feedback increases our chances of winning. Stay with me as we talk about our hero's journey. Now emphasizes how embracing feedback is crucial for breaking free from cycles of stagnation and improving one's own path forward. Well, here is where I leave you, my friends, and I know that this journey will make you into an extremely powerful being, and that energy that comes from your inner self has started to become pure power. By using the better concept, not only will you improve and help yourself, but also those around you. So go forth, my friends, and play the game of life and probabilities to its full extent.